The LDRs don't always allow that area to go to 45 feet. That's the maximum limit. It's kind of how your charter was proposed. You had a maximum of 65 feet, a maximum of 100 feet. Nowhere in the code right now does it allow a single neighborhood to be built to 100 feet or 65 feet, even though the charter says it could. And so we were trying to do as best we could explain a very, very confusing situation at the request of the city manager and the commissioner. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to explain it very well. But there's your map. And you go from there.
I understand why you propose it. I mean, if the concern of the people voting in the most recent referendum, and I have to say, I've got a lot to say about that, but I'll try to keep it to the point. If the needs and the concerns of the people are that they were concerned that the mayor was going to build skyscrapers next to their house in the 1400 block of North M Street, because that's what they were told door to door. Mm-hmm. Yes, they were. I have many people, at least 3 dozen people that will tell me that that's what they were told. They were concerned that these 6-story buildings could be built next to their homes in residential neighborhoods. And that was what was told to many people. So people were very concerned because they didn't want a 6-story building being built next to their house in the 1400 block of North M Street.
Why not?
Because they live in a single, they want to keep their city low-rise.
Oh, I got it.
So, and they were concerned, they did not realize that we were talking about 3 pieces of land in a 1-block strip next to a hotel, and only for a hotel element, no matter how many times I said it publicly. So I was quite ineffective, obviously. But the concern about it, so if that is the will of the people, that they would like to have, to make sure that their neighborhoods and their homes are protected, then I agree with Commissioner Zerbe, that we should look at creating a rule so that nobody will ever fear again that any mayor after me will ever put high-rises in their single-family neighborhoods ever again, because it's not allowable. And I never want, and I say this with the disdain in my voice only because I'm clearing my name for the record, because not my name was slandered across the board in many ways, and many people are willing to step forward and say something about it. I'm not going to go in that direction, but I will say that the 2 lies that were perpetrated was, number 1, that one, and number 2, members in the Hispanic and the Haitian communities were told by members that came to their doorways, and I do have proof on this, and if you'd like me to prove it, I will, that the mayor, if you vote for anything that the mayor was in support of, that the mayor, to again, the Haitian community and the Hispanic community, would have their family members deported by the end of the year. This was told, and I have people again willing to step up to the police, to the news and whatnot, to talk about this. So I'm serious, and I'm sick to death about it, and I use this ability right now for me to clear the record for my name, to protect my name, because putting people in our community in fear of their lives and their families is disgusting. And I would like to just make sure that I say publicly, and the reason I'm doing it here is not to create a scene. It is to make sure that the news gets out to people in the Hispanic and the Haitian communities that this is not a truth, that they have nothing to fear, and that, you know, that this was created for whatever reason things are created during election seasons. But I want to make sure that my name is clear of this. And I'm going to take a break myself and hand this over to the Vice Mayor, because I'm very upset, and I've been very upset about this. So, Vice Mayor.
Thanks. Now you're going to make me go into a tirade. Okay. Any comments beyond yet, Commissioner McVoy?
I appreciate that the mayor is upset. I can sense that and see that. I have to say that I have absolutely zero indication that anybody associated with the last election had anything to say in any communities about people being deported or the mayor doing this or anything else. I have zero indication of that. And I have a fair amount of contact with those communities, and I have not heard that. So I don't know where that's coming from, but certainly wasn't anything that I have seen any evidence of. As far as people being told that something is going to be built by the mayor or by anybody else in residential neighborhoods, please have a look at the literature that was distributed with this. What's printed on it is very clear. This referred only to the downtown. The area that's delineated was very clearly spelled out on it. a concern has probably been raised that what you do in the downtown will set the tone for what you do elsewhere. That might be. But it was very clearly indicated that this applies strictly to a very well-defined area as to what the height should be. I find it interesting that there's a lot of, noise in this direction that really, in my mind, is a little bit moving away from what the message is here, that this community has very clearly spoken, and I think they would have spoken even more clearly had the election been in November, as was originally requested. They were very clear that the majority of people in this community do not want to go very high. And I think as elected officials, it's a little bit odd for us to, not be quite respectful of what the community wants. That's what they want. And we should have made it our business to make sure that we knew that even before we got into this situation. We had petitions on the table by lots of folks who said, please let us vote on this. I mean, we as a commission made it quite difficult to do that, and that upsets me. That concerns me that the democratic process took a bit of a beating in this, but I think now at this point they've spoken clearly. I support Commissioner, if I understand Commissioner Zerdy's proposal, which I'm not sure that I do, but I think he's saying, gee, you've got a conflict between 65 feet or 100 feet and what's in the future land use map, and we ought to try and clarify that and make those two more consistent. I agree with that. I've said that repeatedly, but make sure that when you make it more consistent, that you also, we as a commission, we as a city, go out of our way to make sure that we have a pretty good idea of what the community wants. Don't make it consistent with something that people don't want.
Thank you. Let me kind of make a couple of comments, Commissioner. First of all, it is disrespectful to not adhere to the will of the people, but it's equally, if not even more disrespectful, to blatantly lie about an initiative. Okay, there were no projects on the drawing board for high-rise buildings to be built in the city. I don't know of any projects that are even being contemplated for high-rise projects in this city. And I live in the southwest corner of the city, where everything is a single-family home, and I had neighbors telling me that people were telling them that we were going to build condos and things into the clouds in the southwest section of the city, where zoning clearly doesn't provide for that. Okay, clearly doesn't provide for that. So it's amazing how people in the southwest quadrant of the city could be so fired up about 2 or 3 blocks, which is really what the initiative was all about. It doesn't impact their lives at all. Those 2 or 3 blocks do not impact their lives in any way, shape, or form in a negative way. Under any circumstance would that referendum failing have an impact, a negative impact on those folks. I have a problem, and we can sit here all night and you can tell us about how you have zero knowledge. I would challenge you. I think we should start parading these people in and pointing out people that knocked on their doors. I think that would be a very interesting exercise for us to undertake. I think they should call out the people that knocked on their doors, who they were working with, and what exactly was told to them. We have got to get beyond the politics of divisiveness in this community. Every single year for the last 8 or 9 years, there's been some issue that the same nucleus of people have gone out there and busted down doors and told outlandish lies to try to divide this community politically. We have so many needs in this city. We all need to get together and we need to move in one direction, and that is forward. Okay, we cannot continue to mire in the nonsense politics that's been going on in this city for generations. It's got to stop. We sit here every single night and we hear about our tax valuation going down. We sit here every single night and find out about how people don't want to invest in our community. And the reason some of these things are happening is because of this is the kind of nonsense that goes on. Okay? If this group was truly concerned about heights in this city, they would have done it across the board through the entire city. But they weren't concerned about it. It was only to divide this community. And I support Commissioner Zerdy's initiative because I think it's time we tell everybody just exactly which way is up, pardon the pun. Commissioner Ambrosio.